Welcome to the podcast, Badass Mother Hustler, where the grit, stress, and the beauty of motherhood and entrepreneurship meet. We'll share the realities and stories of what it takes to make it all work and still be a badass mother. Now here's your host, Maddie Yaka.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. This week, I'm going to be chatting with Emily Bingham. She's the badass mother hustler to Jacob 3, Josiah 1.5, and she has her own business called Bingham Embroidery. Welcome to our episode.
Thanks for having me, Maddie.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of funny. You are the first person I've never met in person to do an episode with.
Yeah. I think my best friend Amanda was our connection.
Yes.
She's awesome. I love her so much.
Yeah. So I know her because we taught at the same school together for a little bit. And when I put this on my Facebook saying that I was going to do something like this, she immediately was like, "Oh, reach out to Emily." So, and your story sounds like an amazing one. And I can't wait to dig into it and learn about where you started and where you're at now. But before we start, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yeah, sure. I'm Emily. I have two boys. Jacob is 3 and Josiah is 1.5, just like you said. I worked full time in the fashion industry before kids. And then I worked a little bit after I had my first son. And then when I found out I was pregnant with my second son, like soon after, I decided to quit and stay home with my babies. So that's kind of when my little business all started. And my husband is Jake. He's a police officer, so he's our support system behind me staying home and doing my little side hustle.
That is amazing. So you worked in the fashion industry. Did you always love fashion growing up?
Yeah, I definitely always loved fashion, but also especially just art in general. I knew I wanted to do something artsy, but I wasn't really sure like how to make that into a career. And then I found fashion as an option. So I picked a school based on that and majored in fashion design in college.
Were you always kind of like creating clothes for your dolls and things like that growing up?
Yeah, that's exactly how I kind of got into it. I think it was my mom when I was wondering like what sort of art I could do as a career. She said, yeah, you like have to really think about like what you did as a kid growing up because that's how you know like that's what you loved. And I remembered me and one of my friends as kids created like a sewing studio in my mom's attic, and we had these like little kids sewing machines that actually worked, but they were just tiny. And we would make Barbie clothes and American Girl clothes that we always said we were going to sell them to our friends, but we never sold them. But we would just like go up in the attic and make outfits together, and we loved it. So when I remembered that, that's when I kind of like made the connection, and I was like, oh yeah, like I think I would be good in fashion. It's an artsy thing that I can make into a career.
That is so funny. Okay, so the only reason I asked if you made clothes was because my youngest sister, when she was growing up, she would like rip the heads off of Barbie dolls and they would be her mannequins because she would make clothes for them and then she'd have them lined up like all on the windowsill and they'd be wearing the outfits that she made. So I was just wondering if maybe you did something like that.
I love that. I can't say I ripped the heads off, but maybe she should have went into fashion too.
Seriously. So what was it like? So when did you decide in high school, I guess, that you wanted to get into the fashion? And then what was it like trying to find a school? And did you have to submit pieces that you made? And tell us about
Yeah. So I think my junior and senior year in high school, I was doing an AP art class like most of the time in school. Like I still had to do main classes like math and but then any free time I had, I was like subbing those periods for this AP art class. And the whole point of that class was to build up your portfolio in hopes of getting into some sort of art school or getting scholarships. And when I told my teacher I wanted to do fashion, she was really excited and sent me all like the best fashion schools to apply to. And I like grew up in a very small town and like was not interested in moving to like Georgia
Or
or
New York.
like Philadelphia or anything like that. So I ended up picking a school that was not on her list. I went to a small private school in Reading, PA called Albright College, which is where I met Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a great fashion design program. So it was like the perfect school for me because it was sort of like just a little bit bigger than high school, like still a small school and still like fairly close to home. So yeah, I just applied to their program and my portfolio did end up helping because I got some money out of it luckily. But yeah, that's kind of how I picked the school.
Yeah, college is not cheap, and it's
Mhm.
not any cheaper nowadays. So after, I guess you're getting ready to leave college, and how did you find your job right out of college?
Yeah, so sometime I guess it was in my freshman year of college, I found out about Lily Pulitzer. Um, I think I always like recognized the brand and knew what it was, but like we never bought it, we never wore it. It wasn't like super popular where I grew up. Um, and I just fell in love with it and loved it so much that I based almost all of my college projects off of Lily Pulitzer after that because the teachers always said like design for like the company you want to work for. Because in the end, like all of those college product projects went into my portfolio to apply to jobs. So I did tons and tons of like design projects, like pretending like I worked for Lily Pulitzer in college. Um, and then my first 2 jobs out of school were not at Lily Pulitzer. I worked for a small jewelry company first for just a few months, and then I got offered a position at GK Elite Sportswear where I designed custom cheerleading and gymnastics uniforms.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then after that is when I got a full-time job at Lily Pulitzer, which was my dream job.
So were you always looking for openings at Lilly and one had finally popped up, so you submitted all your stuff?
Yeah, I think I had applied initially out of college, but all of the postings said they wanted like a few years of experience, which I didn't really have outside of college. I did one internship in college at Oprah Magazine in New York, but it wasn't really a design internship, so I don't think they were like counting that as experience. So yeah, I think I don't even remember how I stumbled upon the job opening while I was at GK. Um, but they had a job opening for a Luxletic designer, which is their like activewear line. And it just like got me so excited immediately because I was like, I finally have the experience, and the experience is in activewear, designing like the cheerleading and gymnastics uniforms. So I applied and they do like a really thorough interview process. It was like months of like interviewing and submitting projects and presenting them. And then I got the job.
Wow, like months. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was probably like 2 months, I would say, or maybe more by the time I was actually like started working there.
So, how long did you work there for and what was a day like working at Lilly?
I worked there for I think 3 years or maybe 3.5 years, before I got pregnant then with my second son, and I was an associate fashion designer for Luxletic. So and our category was fairly small. Lily Pulitzer is known as a dress company, so, the whole Luxletic line on the design side was just my boss and I.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, we were busy. My boss was the senior designer and I was the associate, so we just kind of worked together. And day to day, we did a lot of sketching in some hand sketching, but mostly in Adobe Illustrator on the computer. Um, and just planning the line for each season. And like since they're so big on prints, we were constantly like changing the prints of styles, changing the color of styles, changing up the line. I will say that Lily is like very, very thorough, and it's just an amazing company to work for. I like by no means quit because I didn't like working there. It was just that I wanted to be with my family. But everything you see in their store is not just there by happenstance. Like everything is looked at by a million different people, a million different times. Every button, every thread color, um, all the different outfit combinations, like nothing is just there. It has been like inspected, planned over and over again, which is why the product is so awesome.
That's really cool to hear because my aunt works, in one of the stores. She works at the one in King of Prussia,
Oh,
and
no way.
yeah, so, some of the dresses that I wore my senior year of high school, like to graduation and senior dinner dance, I got from her because she works there, so it's just and I don't fit in them anymore, but I still have them so I can pass them on to my daughter if she ever wants to wear them when she's older. So it's just really cool to hear kind of like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And absolutely like the quality of their stuff is definitely something that you can save forever and pass down. Yeah, I wonder if I know your aunt because that's the store that all the employees shop in since it's right next to the corporate office.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I would
Probably.
probably recognize her.
So when you are working on the athletic line for Lily, are you working from home? Do you have to travel somewhere when you were doing that?
Originally it was all like full time in the office before COVID happened. And then after that, we all went to work from home full time for quite a while. And then I'm not sure what they're doing currently. But when I left, I was still working from home pretty much full time and then would just go into the office like on an as needed basis. But there was some traveling since I was an associate designer. I only went, I think, one time. But every time they initially plan the line for a season, all of the senior designers go to Palm Beach to plan the line since that's where the company was founded. That's like the inspiration
I
behind
was
the
just gonna say, head there for your inspiration.
yeah, which is like absolutely a dream. It's like your company sends you to Palm Beach for a weekend and in like the most beautiful hotels. It was like super fun to go do that.
Yeah, that must have been sweet.
Yeah.
So, were you still working at Lilly when you had your first son?
Yeah, I had a pretty good maternity leave, so I was on leave for a while. And then I actually went to part-time for a little bit, just realizing that I wasn't quite sure if I like could do the full time. And childcare was such an issue too because of COVID. Like COVID like amplified the already difficult process of getting a child into daycare. So we were on like 7 waiting lists and nowhere near getting a phone call. We were like number 20 on all of these lists. So,
Wow.
I mean, to this day, I don't think we've taken him off of any of those lists since we still never got called. So, yeah, so that was kind of difficult. My husband being a police officer and me trying to work, like his schedule is never the same. It's all over the place. And at the last minute, he might have to go in for a court hearing. So even if we had childcare, it would be really difficult to say what days and hours we needed because every single week looks different. So it
Yeah,
was
you're
like
like
super
on working on
stressful.
the fly.
Yeah, it was super stressful trying to figure that out. And at the same time, like my heart was tugging me to stay home, I think. So it was a little bit of a drawn out process where they were like working really hard to keep me, which was awesome. Like I asked to go part time, which wasn't really a thing. They like made it a thing just for me, which I still feel bad that I ended up quitting because they made so many nice arrangements for me. But then in the end, I'm like so happy that I'm home with my boys. I wouldn't change it at all. And as much as I loved that job, I'm just so grateful to be able to stay home with them.
Yeah. So when you left Lily, did you immediately think like, okay, I'm going to pivot and I need to start a business for extra income? Or how do we get to Bingham Embroidery? How do we get there?
Yeah, I didn't like really it's such an interesting thing because I didn't really seek out like starting a side business. I think I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial like mindset. I had like a little online boutique for a while and just like always doing like little alterations for people. And I can't even remember what else, but I feel like I've always had like little side things going on. But this one happened like totally by accident, and it's been my successful thing. I just saw the cute like kids' name sweaters online somewhere. I think one of my friends posted her kid in one, and I was like, "That is so cute." And one of my best friends was having a baby at the time, and so I was like, "I'm gonna make this. Like, I can do this." They were going for like since they were like it was like a brand new thing at the time, they were going for like $75 on Etsy, and I just quit my job, so I was like, "I want this for her, and I can't afford to buy this." Um, so I bought some yarn and a needle and a little sweater online, and I said I was never gonna make another one again. It took me like 4 hours. It was not good. Like, it was, like, not fun because I was frustrated with it. And then I forget how it really took off after that. I think I posted it and somebody else wanted one and I was like, "Sure, okay, I'll make another one." And
You're
then
like, 4 more hours. Here we go.
yeah, I was like, "How are people making money off of this? This took me all day." But slowly just making a few for gifts for people, I started to get better and better and quicker, and then I think I posted on my Instagram or something like I've been making these sweaters and a few people have reached out like thanks for your interest and your love on these like that it makes me feel so good. And then after posting that, I got like flooded with messages, and when this first took off, I was super stressed. I just had like notes in my phone of all the people who had messaged me and what colors they wanted and what sizes and the names. And I think I had like 40 or 50 all at one time.
That is
And
insane.
so
Oh
I
my.
was telling people, I was like, yeah, I can take more orders, but it might be like 2 months. I can only do like two a day, like during nap time. Um, so anyways, this is like, I think I'm just trailing off now, but this whole thing like happened by accident and it's been the most fun and most successful of any little side projects I've had.
I mean, the common thread in a lot of these situations is social media just helps blow things up and the power of connecting people.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was putting so much time into each one in the beginning stages that I was like, I have to post this to my story. Like I worked so hard on this. I like sat there for 4 hours. I have to show people what I made. And that's really what kicked it off was just putting them on my Instagram story. And for the longest time, I didn't even have an embroidery Instagram. It was just on my personal one. And then I finally was like, okay, I think I should make a separate one so I can track these orders better.
So, what is your favorite type of sweater to do or to make? Because I saw a few of them on your Instagram.
Yeah, I would say probably just like the classic name sweater. Um, I have branched out, like, I'll get messages randomly to do, like somebody asked for a snowman. Um, I've done, like, the cute, like, flower initial sweaters. They just take, like, a lot longer, but they are
Very, very detailed. I saw a picture of one of those.
I'm actually working on one right here.
That is adorable.
I was actually, like, really needed to work on it today, and I was like, "Oh, I'll put it right here next to me in case, like, I need to show it, I don't know, on the podcast."
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the classic names. Like I've gotten better at them and they're fun to like see just the different name requests and see
Did
what we come up with.
did the Pocket Pals or the Pocket Buddies, I saw you posted them around Easter. Are you still making those?
Yeah, yeah, I was calling them purse pals,
That's what it
but
was.
yeah. Yeah, I got a really good response from those too, and same thing, that started off as, I got the idea to do, like, a little actually, it was for the same friend that the sweater was for too. I got the idea to do, like, a little rag doll for her 1st birthday and, like, make little outfits for it, and then I was like, "Oh, it'd be cute to have a bag to go with it," so then I did the pocket to fit the animal in, and then the little outfits would go inside the bag. And I got a great response from those, but truthfully, I think I just made them too inexpensive because they were taking a long time. Like my mother-in-law was coming over to watch my kids so that I could catch up on sewing everything. And I was like, I think I undercut myself because it's just not worth the hours that I'm putting into this, but I've still been making them as gifts. I just haven't been like marketing them to sell quite as much as I was at first.
So they're really, really cute, and I think that my daughter would love it because she keeps walking around the house with her baby dolls, and then she has, like, her diaper bag, but I saw this on Instagram, and I'm like, "The doll can be in the bag, and the clothes go in the bag," and it's like an all for one thing. So, do you think that you would increase the price to make it worth your time to continue to market those or sell more of them?
Yeah, I think I might my problem with the side hustles, one of my biggest, like, obstacles is I feel bad charging people. I know that sounds so ridiculous because this is, like, the only way I'm making money, but it's, like, sometimes it's other stay-at-home moms buying the stuff, and so even though they take so long, I, like, have a hard time charging what I probably should. Um, but so I've been trying to brainstorm, like, how I can make these a better package to charge more, like, selling, like, multiple outfits with the doll or maybe doing a different doll, or something like that to make it like a packaged gift instead of, just, like, the animal with one outfit.
Yeah, well, when you decide, I'm here.
You got it. They are really fun to make. They're really cute.
They are adorable. So, what are some struggles or obstacles that you've had, doing this business, but also having 2 little kids?
I would say the hardest time is just finding the time because my kids are exactly a year and a half apart, so they're both kinda still babies, and they don't just really, like, go off and play yet, so, I pretty much just work on the sweaters during nap time and after they go to bed, which doesn't like, if around Christmas time or actually right now, for whatever reason, I've been really busy with them, um, I can really only do maybe 2 a day if I'm, like, really pushing them. So just struggling to find the time is the hardest thing. My mother-in-law has been awesome, and if I'm really behind, she'll come over and watch the kids for a few hours so that I can work on them.
How long have you had this business for?
I think I started it, I would say I don't remember. Um, I would
Like,
say I would say 2 years ago because the one that I made for my friend, she just had her 1st birthday, and I gave her hers at her baby shower. So, yeah, like a year and a half or 2 years ago.
that is so sweet. I never saw these sweaters until Amanda told me about your business, and then it was funny, I guess they are a thing, like you said, because my sister's best friend got pregnant, and she gave my sister a little sweater that kinda looks like what you do, but it said "bestie" on it. It was,
Oh,
like,
that's cute.
embroidered in there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is kinda like." I mean, it is the sweater that you make.
Yeah, oh, I might have to steal the bestie, I like that, that's cute.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
cute.
will say, like, most of my side hustles have been more, like, unique things, but this was just something I saw trending, and so for a long time, I was worried, I was like, "This is gonna be short-lived because there's so many people out there making them," but honestly, like, community, local support that I get is huge, like, the amount of orders I've gotten because somebody posted in, like, the Lancaster County Moms page, "Hey, I'm looking for a local mom to make this." And then people will tag me And then other people who weren't even originally asking about getting a sweater would see it and then contact me. So it's been really awesome, like just the amount of local orders I get. And then I do have an Etsy too. So I get some, this one that I have right here is going to Idaho. So I have no idea who this is for.
That is so cool. What are some other states in the United States that you've sent them to?
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly can't remember. I know I've sent one to Washington. I've sent a few there because I made one for my cousin when she had her baby, and then I think friends of hers ordered after that. And I think I sent a few to Texas, and one of them might have been Tennessee. Yeah, I honestly can't remember, but that's kind of how like the word has been getting out is someone will buy one for a gift and then they like it and either want like the next size or they want to gift it to someone else. So it really just kind of, I would say, spiraled through that way, like people giving them as gifts, which is awesome.
Referrals, like
Yeah,
word of mouth.
referrals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are the sizes for the sweaters?
I've done anywhere from like newborn 0 to 3 to probably the biggest one I've done was like 6, like a oh no, I've done a girl size 8 too.
Okay.
I don't buy the sweaters in bulk, so when someone orders, I order the sweater first because again, just being a stay-at-home mom, I don't really have the funds to just order hundreds of these things at my house. And it's such a specific thing where you never know like what size they're gonna want in each color. So I order them just like as the orders come in and then
Like, the combinations could be endless, and you just don't wanna have all that, inventory sitting in your house.
right, and I actually got offered a spot at, I don't know if you've heard of Artisan Mill Company. It's like a Lancaster thing. It's a Lancaster store that it's like separate booths for all these local makers. So I got offered a booth at one time at that store to have my sweaters in, but I couldn't really figure out how to make it work for that reason. It's like so specific that if I would do like Maddie on a size 0 to 3 beige sweater, it would have to be the exact right person to walk in and see that. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like difficult in that way. It's like a very custom thing.
So, how many sweaters would you say you do a month? Like, are you doing this 7 days a week or just kinda when you feel like it, or
It has been really all over the place. There's been a few weeks where I've had none. There's been weeks where I have like 15. It's like and I can't really find like the pattern besides Christmas time, like October, November, December were like really, really busy just for Christmas gifts. But like I said, right now I have a whole bunch that I felt like I was behind on. And it must just be like a lot of babies being born right now, or because I think most of these are gifts that I have. Um, but yeah, on average, I would say I probably do just one a day, or maybe slightly less depending on the week, which feels really good. I will say, like, I don't know right now, while I have a 1 and a 3-year-old, if I want to do more than that because I have to do it while they nap, so it's hard to figure out the timing.
it is so cool that you were able to start a business that still like uses your degree and what you did previously before you had kids, and that you're able to have this business but not lose any time with your kids.
Yeah, that's definitely the greatest blessing of this is like, it was a really big change to go from working full time, having all of my own money, to then I mean, we're married, so it's still my money, but it's like I'm sure other stay-at-home moms out there feel this too. It's just weird to, like, not be contributing in that way, or, like, the best way I can describe it is, like, if you're at Target and you see, like, this cute top that you want just for yourself for no reason, you don't need it, like, it still feels weird to me to just use my husband's credit card for that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to, like, just have, like, some spending money so that I feel like I can do things like that, or, like, be generous. Or a lot of times what I do is if I have a really good week where I've sold a lot, um, I'll take my kids to, like, Busybodies or Hands On House. I don't know if you know any of these places because 'cause they're Lancaster, but, um
So, is that kind of like an indoor play place?
yeah.
Yeah. So, the episode that's going to come out before yours, everyone probably already listened to it at this point. If yours is airing, is someone in our area who opened up a place like that, and she was a
Oh,
stay-at-home
wow.
mom.
That's awesome. I'll have to go back and make sure I re-listen to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kinda what I have done to treat my kids when they've been dealing with me making sweaters all day.
Do they like where do you just sit, like, in your family room, or it kinda looks like maybe you're in an office in your house?
Yeah, I do them kind of wherever. This is like my little sewing studio in my basement.
That's so
So
sweet.
sometimes I work down here. A lot of times, like, the beauty of it is I can, like, sit in bed and watch my show at night after the kids go to bed and just be, like, doing my sweater there, which is you, like, can't beat that, like, making money from your bed, hanging out and resting.
Seriously.
And it's honestly, like, a good stress reliever. Like, if I've had a stressful day, like, nothing beats just embroidering a sweater. It's a good grandma hobby.
Grandma hobbies are back.
They really are. I've also been doing the sourdough, so maybe next we'll be getting chickens, I don't know.
I tried the sourdough. That's not for me, although I'm not a cook, so I should have or a baker, I should have known that wasn't for me, but we've got the chickens. The kids
That's
love
awesome.
going out and getting the eggs, so you should get some chickens.
I know, we live, like, in a neighborhood right now, so I don't think we can, but maybe someday. I would love that.
Yeah, except for when it gets hot, it gets a little bit smelly.
Oh, yeah, I never even thought of that.
Yeah. Scooping chicken poop is the downside of that. So, right now we're gonna turn over to our rapid fire 5 and 5. So, what does your ideal chill day look like?
My ideal chill day would be, like, 75 and sunny, sitting on the deck, playing with my kids, watching them jump on the trampoline, um, yeah, and just hanging outside.
My kids love to be outside. And I mean, today's a gorgeous day, sunny, a little hot, but yeah, they love to be outside too. What are you currently reading or listening to?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like reading, not much right now. The podcast that I love the best is, Coffee and Crumbs. Have you heard of that one?
No, what's that about?
It's a faith-based motherhood podcast where they just talk about, like, real life mom stuff, and so I actually don't listen to that quite as much as I used to because I just feel like I can't find the time, but, that and I'm really into the 1,000 Hours Outside podcast. Do you know that one?
Yep, yep. We are doing that challenge right now. We started in the beginning of the year.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, love that one. What is your favorite app or tool you use as an entrepreneur or a mom?
Hmm. I would say this isn't yeah, definitely not a creative answer on this one, but I would say Instagram because whenever someone sends me some sort of custom sweater like the snowman or like they see some sort of inspiration on Instagram and they'll send me like pictures of like things that they like. So I feel like that's been an awesome tool and even just getting orders through Messenger is still like huge for me.
Yeah, social media is where it's at. What's the song you blast the shit out of if entrepreneur mom life is too much for you that day?
I would definitely say I'm a huge Swiftie, so right now it's the Taylor Swift Tortured Poets Department.
Just the whole album, no
Whole
specific
album,
song?
the whole thing. It's all I can't even pick a favorite song. I love all of them.
So I was driving around with my kids yesterday, and the Fortnite song came on of hers. And I personally think it's like a little bit too slow. So I went to change it, and Dakota's like, go back to that. I love Taylor Swift. And I was like, what? Since when? I said, honey, that song's kind of slow. Don't you want to like jam out? And she's like, no, go back to it. Okay.
My son, my 3-year-old he says he loves Taylor Swift. I know it's just because it's what I like. And he calls it the birthday song. It's I Can Do It With a Broken Heart on the new
Oh my,
album. And he loves that one.
that is so cute. All right. And wrapping it up, what's some advice you can give a struggling entrepreneur mom?
I would say to enlist your army of help. Like my mother-in-law and my mom are awesome when I'm stressed. But also I would say to just let it happen organically because like I said, I tried with so many other side hustles and it turns out just like doing what I loved, like something that was super fun is the thing that I've been successful with.
That's the last person I talked to was like, lean into your passion. Like, we have this world now where you can just lean into your passion and turn it into a business.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
So this was fun. I love talking about the sweaters, and the little dolls are adorable. If anyone wants to reach out to you or find your business, what's the name of your Etsy store? And do you prefer Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, that's great. I would prefer Instagram, and I am Bingham, Bingham_embroidery. And on Etsy, I am also Bingham Embroidery. I don't think there's an underscore on that one. But yeah, I still get probably 50% of my orders through Instagram. So you can just send me a DM with what you like, and I'll send you back some color options and prices.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And
Thanks for having me.
was there anything else you wanted to share before we head to the outro?
I don't think so. Anyone that's listening, if you need a baby gift, I'm your girl.
Definitely, definitely. All right, everyone, I'd like to leave you with this quote. Don't fear failure. Fear being in the exact same place next year as you are today. Until next episode.
Thank you for joining this episode of Badass Mother Hustler. If you loved this episode as much as we did, and it left you feeling inspired and empowered, give us a quick like and subscribe, and we'll invite you back to our next episode. And be sure to share us on your socials and visit our Instagram, Badass Mother Hustler Podcast. We'll see you next time.